So hello everyone, and welcome to another masterclass of our product-led growth and growth hacking series with Cakir. You all probably know Tim, so I'm not going to be introducing Tim again. For you or for those who don't know about Tim, we've shared with you the resources, the description of the masterclass and Tim's bio over Airtable. So Tam, without further ado, I know it's hot, but the floor is yours. So please.
It's going to get even hotter in here with the content and the value that we're going to add. So I'm very excited.
Let's do that.
Thank you so much, Razak. Hi, everybody. I'm very excited to be here again. It's been a couple of weeks, I think, something like that. Last time we were here for some growth topic. Today, again, another growth topic, but we're going to talk about product-led growth. So if you have a SaaS business, a subscription business, and you do have some free trial, you do have some freemium model, this is really a perfect, I think, presentation for you guys. These are masterclasses, as you know. So I'm throwing a lot of content at you. Take notes, ask questions. And when you come onto the deep dives, there is a deep dive for almost every session. I think there's even there's 4 masterclasses, 3 deep dives. So in the deep dives, we will be doing much more strategy for you and so on. So it'll be much more hands-on. So get ready for those with your questions and with your business problems and so on, because we will tackle those. It is very hot in here, as Razak said. I ordered an AC, but it's taken about 2 weeks to come in my office. So I put a nice fresh background so that it makes me feel a little bit fresher, hopefully, because outside is about 43 degrees and it's just 11 o'clock here. And it might get to 45, 46 today. But I'm not going to complain, because in the winter, then we're like, oh, we want the heat, we want warmth, So thank you for that massive screen. I can just see myself now. I'd love to, let me just change that so I can see you guys. Here we go. Yes, I put on gallery view so I can see you all. It's a pleasure to be here. Let's kick it off. Today, what we're going to talk about mastering product-led growth for sustainable success. Okay. Why is it sustainable success? Because product-led growth is one of those things that if you do it well and you keep optimizing it, users come in, right? It really helps your inbound, right? And inbound is one of the best channels, right? If you can achieve inbound marketing with product-led growth and users keeps flooding into your demo, to your free trial, to your freemium, and so on, then your just goal is to convert them. Things get a little bit easier, right? At least they're there, at least they know you, at least they've tried something, and if your product is good. And to be honest, if you really are solving a problem, right? If you're a solution to a problem, product-led growth is amazing, because that's the only thing you're going to focus on, and people are just going to keep coming, right? I always say this, and I'm going to repeat this: don't be a vitamin, be a painkiller. Okay, make sure your product is killing a pain and not a vitamin, because a vitamin is a good to have, but it's not a must-have, right? So what's going to happen if you're a vitamin product is, when I'm going to cut budget, I will cut first your product, right? But when you're a painkiller, even if I'm going to cut budget, I'm not going to cut your product, because I have a pain and you're killing that pain. Okay, so product-led growth, I think it's very important to think about that right away. Cool. Let's get into a little bit of the content. Today I have a little bit of a different presentation. I'm glad that I'm on full view, so I'm a bit smaller here. What we're going to talk about, we're going to talk a little bit about the old way. Okay, the new way. We're going to have life examples. Okay, yeah. Of PLG, product-led growth. We're going to have product-led growth is user-centric, and we're going to talk about why is it user-centric, but I kind of said it already. Examples of product-led growth companies, and product-led growth as go-to-market strategy. I know that a lot of you are still in early stages, right? So it could help you a lot on the go-to-market. A little bit more, we're going to have some frameworks. I love frameworks, okay? If you learn frameworks are they're your little tools, right? If you have them in your toolbox, you can do some really good stuff with frameworks. So we're going to have bowling alley framework. We're going to have the PLG metrics, the product-led growth metrics, product-led growth flywheel, a bunch more frameworks. Bowling alley is on its own, because I think it's very important in this case. Review for your product, that's very important, right? All the review sites, G2, Capterra, and so on. If you don't know it, get in there ASAP, get some reviews. Product-led tools for SaaS. Okay, and we're going to talk a lot about SaaS today, software as a service. Why? Because product-led growth really works in a subscription business. It works in everything, don't get me wrong, but in a subscription business, when you're taking a monthly recurring revenue, it's incredible. Okay, it's that simple. Cool. So the old way that we've been doing product-led growth, or we've been doing marketing, is really putting a landing page, right? We create some content, we direct people towards that landing page, we store their contact information, we send messages and target them with our services, and hopefully we hope that they turn into paying customers, right? This is kind of the old way, but in the product-led growth way, in the new PLG way, we provide the customer with freemium or free product. Okay, product is the customer acquisition model. So our product is what actually acquires the client. So it's not the marketing itself, it's not the messaging, it's not that, it's the product, the quality of the product, the pain-killing features of your product. Okay, we give the product to the people, we let them understand what you offer. Okay, it's much more straight to the point. Okay, they come, they see it, they like it, and they use it. Okay, so that's the PLG way. So I just wanted to get this up. I know it's a bit smaller, so let me see if I can get that full. You're going to have some really big companies like here, Okta, if you know it. You're going to have Octopus Deploy. These are much more technical on this side. Marvel is quite cool as well. Tetra, Loom. I'm sure you guys know Loom Video, hopefully, right? If you don't know Loom, you don't know Loom, go get Loom now. Like, it saved me, I think last month, it saved me about 10 hours of meeting or something like that. Because instead of jumping on a meeting, I just make a quick Loom video to my team members and I send it to them. Gorgeous is an amazing customer support tool. These, why did I bring these? These are really some big companies like Tableau, Proof. What else is I said Gorgeous, GoDaddy, right? Even if you don't like him, I hate GoDaddy, but they've really done a product-led growth strategy, and that's how they've grown. Okay, so these are just some examples. There's, I think, thousands of product-led growth companies out there, but these are some really good examples out there. Cool. Let me get back to my shoulder here, so we can be in the fresh Japanese forest or something like that. The product-led growth concept has always been part of our life, and you know, when I did write this a while ago, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it is true. If you guys remember, you know, I don't like it either, because you go to a perfume shop, right? Or you're walking in Sephora, or you're walking in a shopping mall, and then the first floor is all the perfumes. It just smells perfume everywhere, right? And everybody keeps trying to spray you some perfume, right? Has everybody experienced that before? Yeah. Yeah. Raise your hand if you've experienced that. Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, no, don't spray me. And now you've got 5 different sprays already on you, and a bit here, a bit there, a bit here, a bit there, and you just smell horrible, right? So that was product-led growth. That was product-led growth. Test driving cars, that is product-led growth, right? Because you're able to test the product. You're able to touch, to smell, to drive the product without paying for it. That is product-led growth. That's that simple. If you put it in simple terms, this is product-led growth, right? We've test drive cars. Has anyone test drive cars before they buy in it? Yeah, I've done it. I've done it multiple times. Okay. The perfume, we spoke about it. Okay. These are the silliest, but I think the most basic examples of product-led growth. Okay. And why is this? Because really product-led growth means being end user centric, right? The end user is me. I'm going to buy the car. I test the car. I'm going to buy that perfume, and I need to see how it's going to smell on my skin. Yeah. I'm the end user. Okay. And I test it. So that's how product-led growth really works. These are simple terms, but we're going to get a little bit, obviously, a bit more, not technical, but we're going to get a little bit more into the concept of how you can use it for your products. Okay. So we're going to talk about the examples of some product-led growth companies that I've brought in. Zoom. We're all on Zoom at the moment. Yeah. Okay. So we all know Zoom. Zoom really did grow with product-led, right? They had the acquisition was a frictionless entry point. Okay. You just you log in, or you just even join a meeting. You didn't even have to have a Zoom back in the day. I think you still don't have to. If you're not registered, you can just log in, right? You can just click join the meeting. The expansion was the feature behind the wall, right? So you had 40 minutes. Yeah, that's free calls for 40 minutes. Okay. And if you wanted more than 40 minutes, you had to pay for it, right? And then the retention was the valuable integrations. Okay. Suddenly Zoom is integrated to my calendar. If I sent a calendar option to someone on Calendly, or I use something else called Akiflow, if they accept, or they book a time with me, it automatically sends a Zoom invite, right? And when it sends a Zoom invite, if the person have never used Zoom before, what do they do now? They use Zoom, right? It's incredible when you think about it, because by taking one person, you possibly have the chance of getting another 10 people, because they're going to have a meeting. They're going to invite 10 people. Yeah, that's really the gist of product-led growth for Zoom, I think. Okay, and today, if you didn't know Zoom already, now you know, because you're here, right? But I think that you all knew Zoom, because Zoom especially exploded during COVID, right? During COVID, even my mom and dad that never used Zoom, suddenly they were all on Zoom. They were having drinking sessions or friend sessions on Zoom, and they were having dinners on Zoom or something like that, right? So that helped, of course, for Zoom. Zoom wasn't very profitable at some point, as you guys know, but they had enough users to start converting them into all paying users. Okay. Another one that I really love that you guys are using here, it's Airtable. Right, you create Airtable universe to scale the inspiration of use cases, a responsibility usually held by customer success, right? What do I mean here is that you can go on Airtable today for free, right? You have some amazing use cases, from CRMs to database, whatever, marketing things. I don't know. You have so many amazing templates, right? Some amazing use cases that are available on Airtable. They're very, very simple, right? You just click on it, you fill up your information, it's your Airtable. Yes, exactly. You guys use it at the core. I know, because I've seen all your startups on that database as well. It's an amazing product when you think about it. Okay, it's really, they've taken spreadsheets and they've injected a lot of steroids to it, and they made it even cooler than any type of spreadsheets. And then now they have integrations, they have AI, they have so much cool stuff, right? So again, what's the product-led growth thing about it here? It's a free entry. Right? And if you don't have today a free entry to your product, think about, how can I have a free entry? What are some of the features that solves a pain point that I can give for free? That is not going to cost me too much on infrastructure. That is not, it's going to be very cheap for you, because that's going to be an amazing inbound, right? That's going to be an amazing input. That's going to be an amazing entry to the door of your company. Right, don't worry about the money right away. Okay, I've worked for, I think, 35 plus now. Every time we have a session, I think I can even expand these numbers, because I advise and I consult a lot. I also coach for you guys. So a lot of founders, they're like, revenue. They think about money. Yes, of course, we all need money, because we have to pay the salaries, we have to pay ourselves, we have to eat, right? Food is not free. Nothing is free in the world, sadly, especially these days, right? But if you bring enough people through the door for free, you will figure out how to make revenue later. Don't think about revenue when you're in your early stages. In your early stages, really think about solving that problem, that pain point that that's your mission, right? You have a mission, is to solve a pain point, is to solve a problem. If you stick to that mission, you will make money. Right? There's no questions in that. Okay, but you have to make sure that you're solving a pain point. Okay, and then the revenue thing, it's very interesting, because if we start thinking about revenue, then we really forget about our mission and we start chasing revenue. Then we pivot a lot, we go into different places, and that's not the core of why we started our businesses. Yeah, our businesses are actual pain points, solutions, right? Solving. Okay, so Airtable hasn't changed from that, right? Zoom hasn't changed from that. And even if they had rough times, I think Zoom had a really rough time. They're going back onto the positive side now again, right? Because they're stick to their mission. Yeah, Zoom's mission obviously is to make it easy for us to have a conversation, to have a meeting, to have interactive meetings, right? Cool. So Figma, does anybody use Figma? Yeah, I think Figma, yeah, Rezek uses Figma. That's awesome. Figma is really, really good as well, right? This was in 2019. They closed the 40 million series. Why? Because they just had a product-led approach to solving designer pain points. Designing was really, I'm going to say, pain in the somewhere, right? I didn't want to say that, but it was really difficult to be able to collaborate, to be able to send your designs to developers, to be able to send it to each other to get some feedback. It was really, really, really difficult Okay, yeah, if you're not using Figma, it's on the chat now. If you're designing product, even if you don't know much about design, I don't know much about design, but Figma helps me. There's templates, there's add-ons, there's plugins, there's so much cool stuff that you can actually become a designer, right? If you really focus on it. And I think that UX, UI, design, when I say UX, UI, user experience and user interface, these are very, 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 very crucial for good product-led growth. It has to be frictionless. It has to be so easy for me to sign up, to get into your product, and to find that first feature that solves that pain point. Because if I find that myself, you don't even have to interact with me. I don't have to call you. You don't have to answer any questions, right? You don't need customer support. You don't need a lot of things, right? That you will save cost and you're going to have happy users. No, none of us wants to go to a product and speak to someone. Think about yourselves. When have you went to a product and was like, oh, I want to chat to customer support just for the sake of it? Nobody wants to chat to customer support. Right? When we sign up, we just want it to work. We just want to see that those features that we came for, right? We just want to make sure that we're getting the value that was promised on your landing page, right? On your landing page, you say, we're going to fix your legal management, right? Your legal stuff is going to be easy, right? Nibra says. But then it's not easy because I can't log in. I can't sign up. I have to talk to someone. You have to set it up. We have to do a proof of concept. It needs to take 3 months of custom things. You've already lost me because one of your competitors is 2-step, click, click, click. I can already do my legal documents, right? So that's what you need to think about product-led growth. Okay. Slack, who uses Slack? We all use Slack. I have too many Slacks, right? Slack was one of the best examples for that. Slack actually was an internal tool. If you guys know, I think was it for Salesforce, Rizek? I don't remember, but I think it was Salesforce's internal tool. Yeah. So Salesforce people had built something that is Slack now. And it was just for their internal usage, right? Because they wanted to communicate better. Emails were terrible, right? And they spin it off out of the company because then Slack became Slack, right? 43% of the Fortune 100 pay for Slack and are loud advocates because of their company-wide devotion to its great experience. This number might be a little bit old. I bet you now it's even 60, 70%, okay? Because, emails are great, but emails are super formal. I still love emails thanks to Superhuman. If you don't use Superhuman, an amazing email client thing, software. I love emails again, okay, because it makes it really good. But I like emails for formal to-dos, tasks, and stuff. But if I want to just chat very quickly to a team member, I'm not going to do it through email, right? I'm going to do it through Slack. So Slack, what was it again? It was free. It's still free. Right? You can all come into Slack. You can use it for free. If they haven't changed, it was 10,000 messages that was free. And then it's still free, but you wouldn't have the history of more than 10,000 messages, right? You can search into the history. And that's still going on, I think. And a lot of companies, they want to be able to search all their messages, right? So they pay for it. Okay. So that was Slack's product-led growth strategy. Very simple. Other ones, Pinterest. Yeah. Pinterest was really a silly tool, I think, in the back. In the old days, it was just I pinned something. Oh, I like this stuff. I like this furniture. I like this room, whatever, like things like that. But now, if you realize, Pinterest is an e-com platform, without you realizing, like it's very subtle. You find something, you like it, you can actually go buy it. You can find relevant ones. You can scan the image and find many other products that looks the same, right? And Pinterest, really, what they did is that they grew a massive user base. They didn't know how to price it back then. I mean, they knew, I think they had this strategy. Slowly, they brought these e-commerce features. And these e-commerce features is what started to bring a lot of money to Pinterest. Okay. Typeform, if you're not using Typeform, it's a great form tool. Again, it was free for 100 entries, if I'm not mistaken. So you put a form out there on your website, you get 100 entries, and the 101 entry, you can't see the data, you're going to pay. Right, because somebody filled up your form, so then you start paying for Typeform. Again, do you see the common thing in all product-led growth strategies is there's a free entry, there's a free feature, there's a free usage, a freemium model, right? So think about that always, a freemium model. Okay, that's what makes product-led growth. Okay, cool. So what is product-led growth as a go-to-market strategy? It's very simple. At the end, is what we're talking about. If you are solving a pain point and you bring your product out in the market as a go-to-market, people will talk about it, right? So as people talk about it, you're going to have a really good time, so you have to think about these questions. Okay, who is buying your product? Where will they find out about your product? Why are they buying your product? Okay, and who are they buying? Who are they buying your product? That's wrong. Who are they buying from, right? So what do I mean by here? First of all, is when you think about your persona, your target, your audience, your ICP, we call it now, ideal customer profile, that's very important. Where they will find it, don't tell me my website. That's great. Of course, they're going to find out about your website. But what about the review sites that I mentioned? Okay. G2, Capterra, all that stuff. Okay. That's very important. The testimonials. If they hear and they see your product somewhere else that they trust, it's going to be much easier. Your website is great. Don't get me wrong. Have your website, have your landing page. But remember, that's a little bit the old way. The new way is making sure that in directories, there's product directories. I go to Product Hunt every day. I don't know if you guys go to Product Hunt every day, but in Product Hunt, the top products, I will definitely check them out. If you're on Product Hunt and you're in the top products and people are commenting about your product, you're gold, right? So think about, how can you list your product in different places? How can you use the traffic of other places and the trust that already Product Hunt built, or other tools or directories has built, like BetaList and so on? Okay. Why are they buying your product? That has to be the solution, the pain point that we talked about. Don't be a vitamin, be a painkiller, right? Be a painkiller. And it's so hot here, my brain doesn't work sometimes. I couldn't even read it, but it was correct. How are they buying your product? How are they buying your product? Okay, make it frictionless. Don't let me contact you to buy your product. I have this company the other day. I want to buy their product. I can't even pay for it. I had to beg them, give me your product. That's a horrible experience, right? Make it, if I like your product, make it so easy for me to pay and buy it. Yes. Today, why is Amazon the king of e-com? It's so easy to buy a product. They even have the fast buy, right? Is it the fast buy? I don't know what's called now. As I mentioned, it's a bit hot here. My head's not as working as it should. But basically, in one click, I don't even have to put my card details because they're already there. I can buy it. It's a no-brainer. You know how much money I spend on Amazon? I don't want to even say it because my wife will kill me, right? And I'm sure that some of you might be the same. I don't know. Is there Amazon in Jordan? Yeah, cool. Yeah, because Amazon is, like, I don't want to move to a country that there is no Amazon. Like, that's almost like that, right? So I was coming to Turkey a few years ago, and I was like, yeah, there's no Amazon. I didn't come. Now there is Amazon in Bodrum in south of Turkey. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'd live there, right? Because I can buy stuff, comes to my door. So you see the simplicity of how are they buying your product. Make it super simple. Yeah. Are we all okay until here? Yeah, all the concepts are good. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So I did mention what product-led growth requires, but I do want to double down on it. I want to underline a few of these items. Okay. And again, I know that we wait for the end of the presentation for questions, but if you do have a question, you can throw it in the chat. And then we usually tackle them as well as we go along. Okay. So if you do forget something, just put it on there. You think you're going to forget it, put it on there. But what did I say? I said UI, UX, right? User interface and user experience. Okay. Very important. It has to be fantastic. When we talk about Slack, fantastic. Zoom, fantastic. Even some of us gets frustrated, but it's fantastic compared to try to go to Google Meet and see if it works properly, right? And then compare it, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I miss Zoom, right? Yes. I have some people book a Google meeting with me. I'm like, can I change that link to a Zoom link, please? Because I don't want to show up to a Google Meet, right? It looks even bad. The quality is bad, and usually the internet is bad, and it's on Chrome on their own platform, never works properly neither, right? So the fantastic UX UI, Figma, same thing. All the Pinterest, is a bit busy, I think, because of the e-com stuff. But again, it's fantastic UX UI. It's so easy to use. Okay, it's a no-brainer on where I'm gonna click, how I'm gonna get there, and so on. So please, I think I should have it in here, but you should do a friction audit. Okay, and if I don't have it here, I know that I have it on the deep dive, and we will talk about it on the deep dive. But I think I do have it later. It's quite later, but a friction audit. Okay, so go sit down and sign up for your own product, and do this every 3 months, every 6 months. Go sign up for your own product. Go sign up for your own service. Okay, or get a friend to do it and tell him, look, I'll pay you. Just go pay for it as well, and ask them to take notes. And you'll see that there's so much friction, so many crazy stuff that they have to jump over to get to your product, and you'll feel ashamed sometimes. You're like, oh my god, I didn't know it was so difficult to get my product. Okay, so your customer journey, okay, it has to be really, really, really strong. You have to have a clear customer journey. If you don't have one, map it out today. Map it out on a pen and paper. Map it out on Miro, whatever you want to call it, on a whiteboard or on a physical whiteboard. Go and map it out. Okay. What I mean by this is that you need to know when they have the interest. When are they going to research? When are they going to purchase? Where are they going to do all this stuff? You remember the questions that I asked: who, when, where, how, and stuff like that. Those questions has to be answered in a journey. Okay, you have to have such a clear journey that for me is a no-brainer. Oh, I sign up, boom. Oh, I use the first feature. Oh, now I can pay. Oh, I got to the amazing, the wow moment. Right, the wow moment is very important in product-led growth. What is the wow moment? Is when I go, wow, this product is good, right? And if you can do that, the earliest you can do that, and the less frictionless you can do that, you can do that in a freemium model. And I see, wow, I don't have my wallet. If not, I was going to throw some money at you, but it's Turkish lira. It doesn't cost, it's nothing, right? So basically, it's like, if I see that wow moment, I will throw money at your product. I will throw money at your service, but get me that wow moment ASAP. Yeah, I sign up. I want to see that wow moment. Okay, so please do think about what's the wow moment of your product, of your service. Okay, when do I go, wow? When do I go, wow, this is good? Okay, super important. Sorry about that. Let me close this. Here we go. All right, cool. So analyze your effort with data and iterate on it. Okay, what does that mean? It's very simple. Data driven, they said. I am not about data driven person. I am about data informed. Okay, we can talk about this another day, but the idea is that data should not be the only driver. Okay, because if data is your only driver, you might do mistakes. You might lose about the emotion, about the human side, and a lot of stuff like that. Okay, so make data more a tool that makes you informed and still have your gut feeling, still have that human aspect, the emotion, and make decisions. Yes, Rizek.
Thank you, Tim. Very important, the difference between having like a data kind of supported decision and a better informed decision, looking at various and several aspects. However, when it comes to numbers specifically, I'm a firm believer in data because it's the only solid, tangible kind of thing that you have. And then you can, maneuver around the people conversation, whether it's hiring, firing, and so forth. Do you have a specific kind of framework where our portfolio companies or startups can look at, or we can look at, where you balance out the equation of the decision-making process, whether we're looking at data and how to look around or look for other important aspects as such?
A great question. I don't have right now on top of my head a clear framework for it, but I think that I did share a few of these. I think it was during COVID, just before COVID. If you do put my name and you put data informed, there's a few podcasts, a few articles that I do speak about this type of stuff. But Rezek, I do agree with you. Data is, numbers don't lie, as we would say, right? But they don't lie, but they might be mistaken because they don't take everything into consideration. What does that mean? What does this mean? During COVID, or just when COVID hit, if we looked at numbers, we suddenly went like that, right? A lot of companies went, right? And we could have just fired everybody, and we could have closed shop and so on, because we were that scared, because the data showed us that. But what did really good leaders do? Right, good leaders looked at the data. Oh, they're like, oh shit, okay, something's wrong, right? What's happening? Oh, there's COVID. There's a problem in the world. People are scared. People are not leaving the house. Okay, I'm not gonna fire everybody, right? So there were all these contingency plans and stuff like that, right? I'm going to pay them 70%. I'm going to keep them. I'm going to do this. Okay, I have a restaurant and nobody's coming to my restaurant. Numbers are going down. I could close. No, I'm going to start delivery. I'm going to do delivery myself. Okay. Oh, I'm going to change into frozen ready packages that I'm going to drop in the houses every week because people can't go out much, you know, and so on, right? So the great leaders did their own decision, right? But of course, they were informed with data. Right? They looked at the data. They looked at the world. They looked at emotions. They look at the humans. Okay, and they have a gut feeling, right? And great leaders in the world are a lot of people that actually takes decision with their gut feelings, right? Starting a new business like Amazon back in the day, right? There was no data. There was no online book selling. Right, so he could have not take a decision with data-driven decision. He would have never started a book-selling business in his garage, right? But he said, "This is what I'm going to do." He had this gut feeling. He said, "This is what I'm going to do," and then Jeff Bezos became Jeff Bezos, right? So yes, have the data, but you're in a very early stage, most of you, right? Very, very early stage. You're not going to have amazing data to make decisions, right? But you might have some early numbers that can inform you if you're doing something correctly or if you're doing something wrong, or if you're really, really out of the you know, the reality, right? Again, I think it's not really a framework. It's and I'm going to say this, Rizek, I think it's about making mistakes and failing a lot in your life, you know, and making really bad decisions and then learning from the decisions and then start making better decisions, right? I think that's really what makes great leaders. That's what makes great great visionaries, right? And great decision makers, right? And you know, I didn't prepare this, but Rezek, you asked an amazing question, and I'll give a quick framework. I think is have a decision journal. Does anybody have a decision journal? No. Okay, nobody has a decision journal. Create a decision journal for you now, right? Saif is right now writing here on his pen and paper, I hope, right? It can be on a pen and paper. Just have a little notebook, you know, if you don't want to make it digital, you know, digital is even better, and I'll tell you why. Just say, okay, I'm taking this decision today. This is the decision. This are the potential pros and cons of the decision. These were some numbers that I could find about the decision, but I'm still taking this decision. This is how I'm feeling while I'm taking the decision. I feel frustrated. I feel tired. I feel positive. You know, write down what are you feeling when you're taking that decision. Okay, and then revisit this decision journal every 6 months, every 3 months, every 6 months, every year, and then look at really what was the result of that decision. Read back that decision. Look at where you are now and be like, "Oh shit, that was a terrible decision." Right? Okay, why was it a terrible decision? Because, you know, the cons is what happened and not the pros. Okay, great. You're going to learn from your next decision, right? Look at the decision and be like, "Oh, that was an amazing decision that we did this and that and this, and I was feeling great." Okay, that's good. So maybe I take decisions when I feel great and not when I feel frustrated. And if I'm feeling frustrated today, instead of taking the decision, I go sleep on it, right? Go sleep on it is a real thing. You know, don't take the decision like this and be like, "I'm going to fire this guy," right? Go sleep on it, and then morning, wake up, and if you still feel like, okay, I'm going to fire him, go ahead, right? And I'm not saying fire anybody, right? It's funny because last masterclass we had the same kind of topic of firing people, because there was one of the attendees was firing all this stuff because of ChatGPT, and I was like, don't do that, something like that, right? So a decision journal. And today you can Google decision journal. You potentially can come up to one of my articles or a template of mine. We can see if I can, you know, I'm a bit slow with these, so Nadine doesn't like me because of that. But, you know, when I have time, I'll create a template and send it to the core as well, that you can copy and duplicate and have a decision journal, you know, with some tick boxes. I feel like this, you know, this is how I score my mood. This is the decision. This is weighing the pros and the cons. You can also have a weighing metrics, right? So Rezek, I think that's the closest thing to a framework about this, you know, and that's just going to help you learn and get better at decision making. Yeah, and that's the goal, you know, really great leaders are great decision makers, right? And it's not just about data. Okay. But please analyze your effort with data and iterate, as it says here. Okay. Oh, nice. That was a great side kind of journey there. Company-wide coordination and teamwork. Okay, this is crucial stuff. Okay, in product-led growth, what happens a lot that I see the mistake is sales is doing something else, marketing is doing something else, development team is completely doing something else, right? Really, the coordination and the teamwork between the teams is not aligned. Sales is like, I'm just going to sell enterprise, you know, because that's my revenue goals, and I'm going to take commissions and stuff like that. Marketing is like, I'm just going to bring leads. I'm just going to bring leads. I don't care the quality of the leads, but because the leads come in, you know, my team, everybody's going to be happy. My CEO is going to be happy. Oh, leads are coming in, but 90% of the leads are crap, right? We can't sell to them. And then development is like, I'm going to build this feature because it's cool. You know, developers, we love, I mean, I developed a little bit. Developers love building cool stuff, right? They don't want to work on boring stuff, right? But sometimes the boring stuff is what's going to make your product better. That's going to make your users experience better. Okay, so really make sure you're aligning your developers, your marketeers, your sales team, you know. And this is why I think we talk about a lot now. I talk about growth teams. You know, in a growth team, you have a developer, you have a marketer, you have a sales, you have a user experience person, you have a data analyst, right? So there, with those 5 people, you can take great decisions together, because then everybody's involved. So growth teams are better than just marketing, sales, and so on. It's bringing them together and giving a common goal. Yeah. So the bowling alley framework, right? So this is your straight line. Okay, it's going to be your straight line. Your onboarding, yeah, it contains the absolute minimum number of required steps for a user to experience value. Remember, I said the one moment is how can I get to put all the things down, right? Poof. And then that's why, right, we get all excited, you know, in bowling. That's our goal, right? And the quickest I can get there, the more I'm going to play that game, possibly, right? So same thing goes with your product. Okay. All right, so the product, the part 2 of the bowling alley framework is a no-brainer, but I love this because the product bumper, right? It shows the user what to do within the products using helpful tooltips, right? So you can think about the bumpers a little bit of tooltips, right? So when I throw the ball, right, it's going to go somehow there, right? It might fall into that thing, but it's going to go straight. It's not going to go all the way to the right. It's not going to hit somebody else, right? Some people do actually throw it in the other side. That's, you know, don't go play ball, you know, don't go bowling. If that's you, quit bowling, right? Play it on the Nintendo or something like that. But you're giving me these bumpers, you're directing me in the right way, you know, and that's very important with your products as well. Okay, there is one goal. It's to get them to that wow moment. It's to get them to that sign up and to that first value, as we say in that part 1. So you want to get them to experience that value, right? And you'll do everything to direct them to that destination. And usually it's, you know, tooltips, you know, documentation, onboarding stuff like checklists, right? You've seen this type of stuff all the time, right? You know, when you come on Slack the first time, or when you come onto any product for the first time, they tell you, go here and send a message, you know, answer to this person, start a thread, do this. And you're like, oh, wow, these are really good features, right? So it's already shown you the value. So you don't have to wait for the user to find the value. You can direct them. This is why I love this bowling alley framework. That's the value. This is the journey. These are the bumpers. This is how I'm going to direct them there. Okay. There are some amazing tools for this. User guide. There is, I forgot the other one, app something. You know, there's so many tools that you can overlay on your platform to be able to do checklists, to be able to do next steps and stuff like that, right? Intercom has a great little feature. You know, it'll pop up the chat every time you do something. I'll say, well done, you've created a campaign. Now go do this. If you want more documentation, click here, right? So they are actually guiding the user. They're holding your hand until you get to that amazing value that was promised to you. Okay. Yeah. Are we clear with that, everybody here? Awesome. And on the deep dive, again, you know, come with your problematics. We can brainstorm together and we can create some kind of journey for that, customer journeys stuff. Well, again, you know, I just mentioned all this stuff, but it's the product tools, right? They're incredible at getting to the point of value first. Okay. Fast. Checklist. Here are the steps you have to take to see the value of the product. Do this, do that, do that. If you check these 5 check boxes, you're gonna see the value. Empty space, especially with dashboards. Okay, these are important. People forget about these. If I come to a dashboard tool and everything's empty, it's like I don't see the value. But if you have some data and some charts and stuff like that, okay, I might be like, oh, these are great charts. Can I just click on it and integrate with my own tool? Yeah. Oh, my data came on board, right? Bam, value is there again, right? And onboarding tools, right? Slack educating me, the customer, right? Some amazing examples. Next time you sign up for a product, take your pen and paper, right? Again, you can make it on the same decision journal if you want, okay? And then write down how was your customer journey, right? Okay, I signed up here. Oh, that was very friction because I couldn't find where to actually start a new campaign if it's a marketing tool. Oh, they gave me a checklist. This was the checklist. That was really nice. If you write down this for different products that you go day in, day out, right? And that you sign up and so on. And if you do this for 10, 15, 20 products, which we all sign up for, or maybe I am a bit addicted to products and service. I love technology, right? They call me Tool Time Tim for a reason. So write these down and you'll start seeing some common denominators. And then you'll also realize, oh, my product doesn't have any of this stuff. Right? Okay. So again, very important, to understand that. And the best thing to understand is, this is not rocket science. You're not reinventing the wheel. Millions of people works in this field, does these things, and there's thousands of companies that are really good at product-led growth. Okay. So just go find them and learn from them. Okay. So checklist, even Quora that can be boring, right? They have a checklist when you if you remember first signing up to Quora, you have setting up your account and it'll tell you, it'll say, do your profile, go answer a question or start a question, follow some hashtags, follow some topics and so on, right? As you do that, they're directing you to see that value. Yeah. Cool. Same thing again, Slack, right? This is the example of Slack. When you come in, right, it says here, there's a tip, and then it says next tip, next tip, next tip, next tip. And you go, and it might be a 10-step journey. And in those 10 steps, what happened? You've gotten the amazing value of Slack. Yeah. Yeah, so GA4, we all hate it, I think. Has everyone transferred to GA4 already? Really? No, you haven't? Are you still on the old Google Analytics? You're gonna be forced to switch to GA4 at the end of the year, I think. Or yeah, you did, Yamama. Nice. Oh, I remember Yamama. Hope you're good. Yeah. So yeah, so GA4, it's high. GA4 is crap compared to the old GA. But why is it crap? Because there's much more custom stuff that you have to set up. But do it today, because if not, you'll lose your data when they completely switch over. And why did I put this here? Because you don't need crazy tools on GA4 or any type of analytics tools. What you can do is you can actually start putting the steps. All right, put the steps. Here's my sign up. Here's my checklist. Here's when my checklist finishes. Here's my first campaign. Here's all this stuff, right? And then that's how you can track it. Okay. All right. Some of you that was here last time I did product-led growth, this quite be similar to you guys. So I hope that I can give you differentiation on the deep dive. Okay. But if you've missed the last sessions, because I didn't see Yamama last sessions, those were also very new topics because we were talking about AI, which we've not done AI before, right? So join those as well. Cool. So in part 3, right, is also the conversational bumper. Uses prompts such as email and SMS to bring users back to the product, right? This is the intercom stuff. If I'm going, I've signed off and I'm not used it. Hey, have you tried the new feature? Have you tried to send a message on Slack to your friend? Okay, and if you haven't done that, we know you didn't get the value. So we're going to prompt you and we're going to push you to do that action. Okay. And that's really good product-led growth marketing, right? Okay. Again, there's a signal, we sign up, there's a welcome email, usage tip, quick win. this is a very, very simple flow of emails and so on, right? Desired outcome, right? So what's the desired outcome? There's a sales outreach, a case study, the trial expires, or we extend the trial most of the time. If you've seen that, and usually you'll also get what I realized lately as well was I don't buy a product right away. Sign up for it, do the trial, don't use it, come back in 30 days, they're going to give you a coupon code for 30%. So don't buy anything from right away, because you're going to get a better price in a bit, okay? Because they're going to beg you almost, oh, here's a coupon code, come back, I'll give you a more trial, and so on, right? So then there's a post-trial survey, you become a customer, and then there's a new customer campaign. Yeah, simple stuff. Okay, so product-led growth metrics. Okay, if you're not tracking these things, start tracking these things, right? Time to value. It's very important. It's that time that it goes to that wow moment. This is the time that it takes a user to reach their aha, or the wow moment. Okay, the aha is like, aha, I understand what this is. And the wow is like, wow, this is good, right? Very simple emotions almost, right? Okay, very simple moments in our lives when we realize something, we understand how it works, or when we see the value of something, we're like, yeah, this is good stuff, right? Or potential value realization moment, whatever that is, right? The wow, the aha, whatever you want to call it. The shorter the TTV, the better for the product, as I said earlier, right? If I can sign up today and in 10 minutes I see that, I'm going to pay, right? If I sign up, it took me a day, 2 days, I still don't see the value, I have to do this and that, I have to integrate millions of tools, there is no sample data, there's nothing there, right? It's going to be very friction. There's going to be a lot of friction. Yeah, and if there's a lot of friction, I'm going to do the same with another product that is frictionless, and I'm going to go with them. Yeah. So do think about that. If I go to your legal system and I have to create a contract from scratch and so on, I have to upload mine and so on, you've lost me. But if there's a template, then I just write a couple of values and then bam, oh, it's ready to sign and to send it to as an NDA to someone. Oh, great. Right? I've done the value. I've seen the aha, I've seen the wow, I'm ready to pay. Okay. So please do think about the time to value. And again, I'm going to repeat this. Do sit a minute sometimes and go through your onboarding, your buying process, and see that how long does it take you to see the value of it. Okay. If you have tunnel vision, right, then get a friend, right? Get a friend that doesn't know your product. Get a, and this is funny, the grandmother, right? Get the grandmother, is she still alive, and she can type a couple of things, get her to go through it, or the mother, or somebody older than you and stuff like that, right? Somebody that's not very techie as well. Okay, because that's what great products are. They're very, I'm gonna say dummy proof, but when I say dummy proof, people get a little bit like, oh, nobody's dumb. Dummy proof means that it's just a no-brainer for everybody. You have the dummies guides of books and stuff like that. So that's where the example comes from. Your average revenue per user, if you're in a SaaS product, you're gonna go, if you're a consumer based, you're gonna call it average revenue per user, ARPU. And if you're more on the B2B side and things, and on companies and accounts, you're gonna call this ARPA, average revenue per account. Okay, because then the account is more important than just the user, because an account can have 10 users, right? This is the total revenue of your business divided by the number of paying customers or users in that period. Simple. Okay, again, numbers that you should be tracking, yeah, from the get-go, especially for product growth. Expansion revenue, right? You get a client, they pay you, but what do you expand? What's the upsells? What are the add-ons? Okay, what are the anything more than the initial purchase? I pay you $29.99 a month. Great. Oh, there's an add-on at $10 a month. Now I'm paying you $39.99, right? So what's that expansion? How can you expand? Is it different users? Is it adding more users? You can be adding 10 more users, right? Okay. Customer lifetime value, CLV. Okay, it's a tentative formula to find out how much revenue you will make from one user over his or her lifetime, right? They pay $29.99, they stay 10 months, they're going to pay $299, something like that, right? My math, horrible. This is why we have technology. So do think about that and track it. So this is where really things change when we talk about product the product led, right? It's the PQL instead of MQLs, marketing qualified leads, and SQL, sales qualified leads, and so on. We're going to talk about here PQLs, product qualified leads, right? What does that mean is that, it's the people who are convinced by your product and will activate or are activated users. Okay. MQLs, SQLs, they're great, but they haven't seen your product. They haven't used it, right? They haven't seen the value. The PQL people is the people that have seen the value. All right. And as product led, your KPI and what you're going to work on is to increase this number, right? It's not really focusing on MQLs or SQLs, but it's focusing on PQLs. Yeah. So the freemium, the people that done the freemium and so on, they're going to be PQLs. Yeah. All right. So here, it's, again, I repeat it, but it's the user who has experienced the value of your SaaS product, typically through a free trial or a freemium account. Okay. So again, if you don't have a freemium or a free trial and you're like, my product, I can't have a freemium because we're a legal platform. Well, you can. There's definitely something you can do. If you have a hardware, it's a bit more difficult, right? It's going to be much more difficult. And we can think about it. How do you do that? But, you could have a 3D option on the website and go around and stuff like that. Yazan, yes.
I have a question that I've been eager to ask from the beginning, but I was holding myself so that I don't use the time of the session. So, as you know, as a SaaS model companies or SaaS model service providers, the type, let's say, of the businesses, like there is B2B and there is B2C at the end of the day. And even when we talk about B2B, even the clustering of the decision process for the B2B differs according to whom I'm targeting.
Yeah.
So sometimes, even if you are planning to do the PLG in the new way, providing free trial, for example, still the decision process will take a lot of time. And sometimes, like, the conversion for that might also take a lot of time. So that's why, like, in our sector, we're more of an IDV and identity verification and anti-fraud. A lot of companies are not moving towards giving free premium. Contact us, because even in that case, I cannot give a price because we're modular based. So sometimes component can be sold, sometimes they are not interested in component. And a lot of companies in this sector are driving towards having a contact us page. Let's schedule a call. We will do a discovery call, then we will do the demo, so on and so forth. So does this apply to us, or how can we, let's say, modify it, customize it in a more proper way to maintain this PLG approach in a convenient way? Thank you.
Well, thank you. Amazing question. So first of all, I mean, you're right about B2B, B2C, and so on. But, if you do research my name and human to human, I think that B2B, B2C is a bit, not bullshit, but, it's all about human to human, right? At the end of the day, there's going to be a decision maker and there's a human, right? He or she is a human, right? So H2H, I think, is really the approach that you want to take. And the messaging is going to change if it's a little bit consumer based or a little bit more business based, right? That's kind of it. I think that in your case, and I work a lot with cybersecurity companies and stuff like that, which is quite close to I think what you guys might be offering and so on. It's usually trust, right? You're new, they don't know you, they haven't heard about you, they don't trust you, and so on, right? So you have to somehow create that trust. So that trust has to have with testimonials, case studies, referrals, right? If somebody comes to me and says, hey, I work with these guys, and I trust this person as a good friend, or this person is somebody I respect, and they say, hey, I work with these guys, you're like, oh, great, I'll go sign up now. Right? That moment when I'm not gonna have a discovery call and look at your papers and look at your infrastructure. How do you protect my data? How do you do that? No, I'm just gonna go, these are the best in the industry. Everybody told me this. Right? So that is a trust game. Yeah. So more testimonials, more case studies, more people raving about your product is gonna shorten that time period. Okay. And I bet you there's a lot of friction on your end to set up the accounts, right? The modular base, this, that. There's a lot of friction. And this is why you have a discovery call, you have a follow-up call, you have a proof of concept call, and then you have a proof of concept contract, and then blah, 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 blah. It's a lot of friction. I bet you could look at this and be like, how can I remove these frictions?
Exactly.
So maybe you have 10 friction points, but if you remove 2 of them, you've possibly gained another 2-3 weeks, of the sales cycle. So write down the frictions and understand what the frictions are. Do they have to download something onto their computer? Can you make it a no-brainer that in the first time before the discovery call is already downloaded to their computer? Or can you do that on the discovery call? Be like, let's just download this, because later when we do the proof of concept, it's going to be easy. Okay, boom. I've shortened that period as well. Because if not, you're going to beg them, have you downloaded that? Have you opened the app on your computer? Things like that it sounds simple to me. Of course, your business is much more complex than what I'm saying here, right? But by writing it down and actually mapping these frictions, okay, and we're going to talk about a friction journey in a second, mapping these out, you can slowly find solutions and you can innovate. You can innovate solutions to get rid of those frictions. And again, these are the top companies, right? Salesforce. Why did Salesforce become huge? Every CRM was on the computer before, right? And it was on servers, blah, blah, blah. And then Salesforce started the cloud. Yeah. And it was an innovation. Before you had to have engineers come to your office and put a computer and put everything inside the servers and blah, 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 and la, la, la. And then they came with the cloud option, right? And then we were all like, wow, I don't have to do this. Nobody has to come to my office anymore. I sign up and I'm ready with my CRM. That was innovation, but that cut down that whole friction. And how did they do this? Is they thought about the friction. They were like, we have to book a service person to go there. They have to install this. Then they have to contact us. Then they have to download it. Then it's going to take time to connect the computer, the server, the modules, right? Maybe you're modular based, but you have certain templates that work for different people. Oh, if I click this, these modules work together. Right. So again, it's really you, your co-founders, if you have, and your team, is to actually sit and brainstorm. Keep brainstorming. What are some of the solutions to some of these frictions?
Thank you.
Does that help, Yazan? Yeah. That's going to speed up your process. What you want to do is actually just speed up that process, right? Because if you have an 18-month sales cycle, it's going to take you minimum 18 months from the get-go to get your first customer. And, and then if you get in the second month a lead, that's going to take you another 18 months. So that's going to be a month after the first customer that you can get the customer. And that's going to be a vicious cycle. I work for Recipe.ai. We did computer vision for manufacturing, industrial. We did the computer vision for a bunch of different industries. And the sales cycle was about 18 months, right? This is why I give that example. It was really difficult. This computer vision is technical. They have to tap into the API. They had to change their codes so that the images gets uploaded to us. They get the answers with JSON and stuff like that. So it was very, very difficult. Then we kind of not pivoted. We still had the same product, same service, but we went just for real estate. And in real estate, websites like Idealista, which was the biggest in Spain of real estate listings, we were able to give them a ready API, a ready template that would work for 90+% of real estate listing websites. They would just plug that in, and then we would start giving them the answer of recognizing the images, right? And the sales cycle became from 18 months to a couple months.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's a difficult one. Yes, absolutely. When you go very technical and you have a very technical product, is one of the most difficult ones to do product-led growth. But it's not impossible. It's absolutely not impossible. Cool, awesome. That was a really good discussion there. Thank you. So again, PQL in the middle here, right? Somewhere here, right? I think. Experience, product value, short purchase intent, and matches customer profile. So when these three things happen in the center, you're gonna have your PQL, right? So that center is somewhere here, yeah. Okay. Your customer profile, the ICP, ideal customer profile, persona target, that has to be perfect. Okay. The product value, as we spoke, the wow moment, the aha moments, they have to experience this ASAP, and they have to show a purchase of intent, right? An intent purchase. So then that's where your PQLs and your product qualified leads are there. Yeah. Cool. So who gets, again, the most value from PQLs? Yazan can really get it, but it's going to take him time. But if you're an easy SaaS platform, if especially self-service SaaS, and you're trying to move up market, that's going to be really, really easy for you to track PQLs and to grow through PQLs. Or high volume of signups with high variance in quality. Okay, you could have really great people signing up and really terrible people that is never going to pay for your product. If you start tracking more PQLs instead of MQLs and SQLs, you're going to see more value from this metric, from this KPI. Yeah. All right. Okay. So yeah, why even bother? I love this question. Because you can identify great sales opportunities. If you have PQLs, right, you're gonna start really seeing, oh, these users are gonna be the best sales, right? You can proactively reach out to high value leads, because every MQL is an MQL, every SQL is an SQL, but every PQL is not an MQL or an SQL, right? Because you have MQL, SQL, and that's like MQL, SQL, PQL, right? It narrows down, and that narrowed down less numbers. Those should be your priority to tackle. Okay, it's to prioritize your efforts as well. You increase free to paid conversion rates, no brainer. Improve inside sales processes, 100%. Sales teams, they love PQLs because somebody has already touched the product, they've already seen the value, they've already experienced it, and they're like, oh, okay, this is awesome. So it's so much easier to sell to those people than to sell to someone who's never seen your product, right? Yazan, I don't know if you can have a demo of your product. Like, is there a couple of different demos that you can just give it to people and be like, oh, wow, it's not my data, but it looks great. I need this for myself, right? If you have something like that, then that's possibly also going to shorten the time.
Actually, I'm thinking of having some sort, not of a trial, like test functions on the website. So for example, we provide OCR. So you can just upload a document, test it, and see the quality. For example, fraud detection, you can upload a document, test it, see the quality. If you're interested, call them.
Yeah, go an extra step. Don't even let them upload. Have the option of uploading a document, but also have an option of having a few template documents. And if they click it in real time, yeah. So actually, you just reminded me that we also did that at recipe.ai. What we did is we had maybe 50 or 60 real estate pictures. We had the demo. It was free to use without even logging in or signing up. I don't know if they still have it because I've left there 3-4 years ago. And we also had an upload, and we also had a URL option. So you could give a URL of a Google image or something like that. And as soon as you submit it, the computer vision would work, bam, and it would give you the results. All right. But we had templates already, already some images, right? Some placeholder images that you can do. You could upload your image, and we had a URL option as well. So you had 3 options to really experience the value.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So that would be something cool for you, I think. Yeah. Cool. All right. So again, high customer fit, low customer fit. Let me get myself around here. So low customer fit, high customer fit, we have highly engaged and low engagement, right? So obviously these people are ready to close, and this is where you want to work, right? There's a business opportunity question mark. These people need hand holding. So here you can also give them more tips, more checkpoints. You can put them on a segment of emails to teach them more stuff. Okay. And low engagement and low customer fit, just ignore them, right? And that's the difference. When MQL, SQL, we don't know where they sit here, right? Okay. But when we're talking about if they match the ICP, the ideal customer profile, and they've experienced the aha moments, they have high value account who's ready to upgrade, right? So it's really to prioritize your efforts, because you can tell me, oh, I have 1,000 signups, but how many of them are PQLs? How many of them are ready to close? None. Well, there's a problem in the business, right? Cool. Yeah, again, just to go back, Maha.
Hello, how are you, Tim?
Good. How about yourself?
Fine. Actually, I have a question which I will keep till the end, but I have a quick one now. On the slide before this, you were saying that, of course, you have to recognize when to drive people more or hit them with more messages or emails. But sometimes you tend, if you get a lot of messages from somewhere, you don't even, you stop reading what you're getting. So there's a thin line here where how can I still attract somebody because they're not even opening, if it's coming from Netflix, for example, I don't want to hear it anymore. You know what I mean? So how, is there another way? Because if you just keep on hitting that spot, you're just gonna get the same result.
Yeah, well, amazing topic, of course, and we can think about it very quickly together. Right now, the Netflix messages that I get, I love them because the algorithm knows me so well that it knows the next thing I'm going to watch, right? So there's the value there. It's not going to give me a chick flick. It's going to give me a specific thing that I know that that is going to be really good, right? And I'm going to click it and I'm going to watch it. So if you're sending messages and people not reading, that means or the message is terrible and it has no value whatsoever, or that means that they were really not the right people, right? They were not, they were low customer fit. They were super low customer fit and they have low engagement, right? So ignore those people. Maha, was it Maha?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Ignore those people, right?
Okay.
If you see they have very high customer fit, they fit your ICP and so on, but they have low engagement, right? They might need hand holding. And maybe it's not just spamming them with messages all the time, but it's giving them value, giving them documentation, showing them testimonials of other people, how you solve the problem. It's maybe seeing if you can book a call with them to really show the product, right? And it's not about spamming. If you're sending messages, and nobody's answering, there is something wrong, right? Or they're not the fit whatsoever, or your messaging is not right.
Okay.
You have to be giving value. If you give me value, I will read your messages. But if you don't give me value, why should I read your messages? You know,
all right.
Yeah. But yeah, things are getting better, with ChatGPT and all these AI tools and the algorithms. We can personalize and customize messages and journeys, and one journey doesn't fit somebody else's journey, but you have a general customer journey, and slowly you might be like, okay, I have a few customer journeys because one is the introvert type, one is the extrovert type, one is this type, and if you're starting to understand different types of users, you can give them a different experience. Yeah, but usually you have one ICP. If you're really good at the ICP, then you can also see if you can expand. But usually the ICP is going to take you very, very far. All right. Okay, well, define your ICP. If you don't know your ICP and everybody's out, well, I know, yeah, these CTOs in tech companies that need security. No, that's not your ICP. Your ICP is, where they work, what's the total revenue of the company, what's their pain points, and so on. Your ICP has to be much more specific. Okay. Then define the key events to measure the activation and the engagement, as we mentioned. Combine those two, right? And then you iterate and refine. That's your PQL process. Okay, that's how you're going to create your PQL. Okay. So 3 ways to start PQLs is you can have a simple in-house segments in your CRM, filter out low quality accounts. Let's go. You have dedicated tools, fast implementation and skills with your needs. Custom solutions, don't go there, please, but 5-figure budgets and can take months to implement. Okay. So usually you can understand that if an MQL or an SQL has done this and that and has started a campaign in my product, they become a PQL. If you can tag them, that's your simplest thing. Okay. And that's what I would focus on. I know we don't have much time, so I might jump some stuff because I really want to get to the product-led growth flywheel. It's really they activate, they adopt, they really love it, they adore it, and they'll be the advocate of it, right? They'll tell other people about it. Okay. I have all this, but I think that I really want to give you value in here. All right. So if you were here a few years ago when we did product-led growth, this framework is still the same framework. I absolutely adore this framework because we never think about this, right? You think about your product, you're like, oh, my product, that's it. Okay, but so your product has 3 levels. Yeah, I repeat, your product has 3 levels. It has the core product. Okay, the core product is what the pain point is. The solution to the pain point is your core product, right? Yeah, it can be aspirational. The actual product is what I interact with. I sign up, I do this, it has some features and so on. And the augmented product is what really differentiates you from competitors, right? It could be even 24/7 customer service, or an amazing chatbot that will answer all your questions in real time. It could be that you have a longer period of free trial or whatever. Those are going to be augmented. I sometimes call it the bells and whistles, right? The different stuff, you have the car, but then there's a horn. It sounds better. It sounds different and so on. Okay. So you have to think about what is your core. Okay. That's your mission, right? Your actual is the product that you have and the features and so on. And the augmented is your differentiators. Yeah. So it sounds very silly and very simple and very, very, very like, I don't know, basic, but it's not. When you start writing this down and you start categorizing stuff to your augmented, to your actual, and so on, you're really going to have a better vision. You're going to have a better mission, vision, value, and you're going to have a clearer direction of why you're doing what you're doing. Yeah. And ask these questions, what is your company's actual product? What is your core product? What is your augmented product? And how does compare to firms you typically consider in your competitive set? Do these firms have the same actual core or augmented product? Yeah, and start creating a table. Oh. Cool. Again, a few other ones. So there are different competitions. Okay, there's a narrow competition. Usually this is the two competing products are almost indistinguishable. They do exactly what you do. A form, okay, a form competitor, what is it? It's a similar product that compete for share of wallet, so the same budget, okay, but have different features and use cases. All right. There is a need, which is the products with similar core product, right? The mission vision is the same, but that satisfy the same consumer need, but it could be quite different products. It's similar, but they do the same thing, but one is online, one is offline, one is a hardware, one is a software. That could be crazy stuff like that, but they kind of is the needs, right? It satisfies my need. And the resource is that, it's products that compete for the same broad finite resources. So that could be your marketing budgets, this is for marketing teams, right? They could be very different products, and they compete to get the marketing team's attention. Okay. So these are very different types of competition. Okay. And something to really think about. So I wanted to bring this, especially because we've spoken with Yazan as well here, the friction audit. Very simple. Okay. It's a 3-phase of friction audit are exploratory, intervention, and confirmation. Okay. So what do we do? First, we explore. Okay. Do I have the questions? Yeah. Think about your consumer's experience in purchasing your product. Where are there moments of friction in that process? Write these down. It takes me time. They have to wait for the sales call. They have to wait for the discovery call. They have to wait for me to send them a document, an NDA, and so on, right? Can we not automate all this stuff? Think about your consumer's experience using your product. Where are the moments of friction in that process? Okay. So yeah, so this is purchasing your product. This is using your product, and then choose one of the points of friction you've identified and how could you remove that friction? Okay, so this is your exploratory phase. If you do that, okay, so you explore, you write these down, you found 15 frictions, and you're like, all right, we're going to intervene. We're going to fix one of these frictions or two of these frictions. You fix them, and then you have to confirm. So go back to the exploratory, redo the process, and see if the time to value has increased and so on. And the wow moment, the aha moment being much more forward, right? It's much more quicker. Then you can confirm that you have gotten rid of those frictions. And a friction audit should run every 3 months, 6 months, according to, of course, your development cycle, your release cycle. If you're releasing a lot of features every 3 months, make sure that you're doing a friction audit every 3 months. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Let's get to a bit. Well, you're going to hear this a lot, and I'm sure you have. Product-led marketing, product-led engineering, product-led sales, and so on. Okay. And we can talk about them very quickly. Product-led marketing, the product is the primary tool as acquisition. Usually this is done through freemium or free trial options. It's like product-led growth, but product-led growth, don't forget, in product-led growth, you should have developers, you should have analysts and stuff, because you can actually change things in the product to make it easier and frictionless to see the value. Okay. In product-led marketing, they can't really touch the product. Okay. They can give a freemium or a free trial, but they can't work on the time to value inside the product. Okay. Which is not that good. Product-led engineering, which is not that typical, is primarily responsible for developing the product in line with customers' needs and market trends. This is great, right? If your engineering is product-led, you're going to have a great engineering team, right? And if you can combine those, of course, you're going to have product-led growth. And product-led sales is to provide the keys by handing the product to the customers. You know, perceived value is experience value, okay? But when you combine these three, you have the marketing and the engineering and the sales team, as I mentioned, right? These teams, they should not be different teams, actually. And you remember there was one that is about aligning the teams and the collaboration and having the same goals, right? Then you're gonna really start seeing a growth. Yeah, that's where really growth comes from. Yeah. So I do want to mention a few tools because I love tools. There was social intents, good stuff. You have a bunch of these now. I think there's some really better ones now with ChatGPT. I haven't updated this since ChatGPT, but ChatGPT has amazing custom GPT is one. Instead of this, I can give you custom GPT. It's actually can do customer conversations and website visits that chat to it like a real human. So I go to them. These are all the stuff. User flow is good though, right? User flow is for user onboarding. Yeah, the other one that I was trying to remember, if you guys remember earlier, is app queues. App queues, an amazing tool again, creating checklists, product onboarding, user guides, and stuff like that. App queues is great. User flow is a similar one. Here we go. You see app queues. I have it here. Great. These two are great for SaaS. Yeah. Zendesk customer support. You can have Zendesk or you can have Intercom. I prefer Intercom. Intercom is much easier to use. Zendesk. Go with Zendesk if you have more of an enterprise product. Go with Intercom if you have much more of a SMB type of SaaS product. Yeah, if you're enterprise, I would go with Zendesk. If you're a bit more to smaller businesses, I'd go with Intercom. Yeah, because it's going to be really more than enough for you. HubSpot, the CRM, I hope you know it. If you don't know it, go get to know it. It has a lot of free stuff that you can use. I love it. Salesforce, don't go Salesforce. This is if you're enterprise, right? If you're enterprise, you go Salesforce. If you're SMB and you're cool, you're one of the cool kids, you go to HubSpot. Yeah. And you remember in the beginning we were talking about a bunch of product directories and stuff like that. I think that one of the best places for you to get leads from is to be in things like Product Hunt. You know, if you haven't launched on Product Hunt yet, go have a Product Hunt launch. Is it easy? No. Is it doable? Yes. Right. And you can launch every time you have a new feature, every time you're doing a whole revamp of your product and stuff like that. And you can get really better and better and better and better at launching products, right? And launching your product on Product Hunt. If you launch well on Product Hunt, what's going to happen is that you're going to get a bunch of users, all right? And again, why do I say this? Because it's the thing that I told you before is you can tap into other people's traffic, right? Tapping into Product Hunt's traffic is better than creating your million traffic, right? Because Product Hunt has potentially, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of visitors a month, right? And you have 1,000 visitors a month, right? And instead of you trying to increase how many visitors I have a month, go to other sites and steal their traffic. Yeah. Same thing with Capterra or G2. They are review sites, right? There will be, most of the big products will have their reviews there. You can have your reviews there as well. You know, ask one of your customer that loves you, right? They're like, oh, I really love your product. I really love your product. It's, you know, it's the best product I've ever seen. Hey, please, can you give me a review on G2 or on Capterra or on Clutch? Or, you know, or can you, next week, we're going to have a Product Hunt launch. Can you be active at that time and come and comment and be active, right? People will help you. You just have to ask for it. People don't ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. So start asking more. And you'll be very impressed when you ask. Sometimes you get it, you know, and the worst case is you're going to get a no, and that's okay. You know, don't cry about it, or cry for a minute and then just grow up. Yeah. Yazan.
If we don't have a lot of clients, G2 will not be suitable, or can we
Again,
manipulate the reviews?
No, you can start with 1 or 2. It's better than 0.
Okay.
You know, if you have 1 or 2 clients that love you and they're like, Yazan, I love your product, man, and I love you. And you're like, oh man, can you do me a favor? And they'll be like, yeah, what's up? So can you give me a testimonial on G2? Can you write?
Because on G2, you see like clients having 500, 600 reviews. So you're like,
Yeah, but how did they get there, Yazan?
yeah, gradually, of course. Yeah, they started
Exactly.
somewhere.
So start now.
Okay.
Yeah, so start now. They started one day, you know, they started earlier on, you know, and I know like people sometimes see these things and they're like, oh, I'm never going to get to 1,000 reviews. So they just don't do it. Right. But you do 1 today, 2 next week, 4 the week after, suddenly you have 6, 7 and you're like, oh, that's getting really good. Right. And then the day that you have 100, you're like, yeah, I'm making a lot of money and I'm happy. Right. So step by step, the same thing as building the product, right? Is all little iterations, little steps, and go choose one that really fits your industry, that your competitors are there and stuff like that, and start getting some reviews. Saif, you had your hand up.
Yes, I wanted to ask because our product is like very technical, and at the moment our clients are usually institutions or research centers. So we tend to get their recommendation letters. Like we ask them to give us like a full-on recommendation letters signed from them, stamped and everything. Because we don't really like we don't do any product-led growth at the moment because our product is very specific and very tailored, I would say, to specific clients and specific clientele segment. I don't think there is like platforms that review this at the moment, like because we do AI for robotics.
Yeah. We might be mistaken, to be honest. Do research it because I'm sure that this is a growing industry, AI for robotics and stuff. So there must be somewhere geeky people and nerdy people about this talks about it, and it could be even on Reddit. You know, maybe you want to get maybe you want to get into the conversation on Reddit. Maybe it's not testimonials, but as people started to rave about you on Reddit, they're like, "Oh man, I use Saif's product; it's amazing." That's almost like a testimonial, right? You have an ambassador, you have an advocate. Right. So do think about that. And, you know, it's the same thing we were talking with Yazan just earlier. You know, you might want to, I think you were on the phone, Saif, but you might want to have a demo, you know, and the demo is a use case of this type of client, or you have maybe 5 different demos and you're like, look, I think you're going to be this type of thing. Here's a demo. Use the demo.
We usually do the demos and conferences, like we do physically take the drones and we show demos in conferences, or we invite them to our office labs and offices to do that.
How can you digitalize that experience, maybe with VR glasses, or they have the cardboard boxes and they go and then they see it? You know, how can you make it so that you don't have to wait for the next conference? You know, how can you bring that time to value quicker again, right? Even if it's super technical and it could be cybersecurity, it could be this. It doesn't have to be real data. It doesn't have to be a real use case for the client, but it could be something that could be similar to them, right? There is many ways that we don't think about because Saif, what happens is you have tunnel vision. Let's be honest. You've been developing this. You're in it. I don't know for how long. You know, you can't see it from outside.
True.
And that's normal. This happens to all of us. Right. And this is why I'm a great growth consultant, because I have no clue about your product most of the time. And I ask you the silliest questions. And then you're like, oh shit, I never thought about that. Right. I do think about this because I don't have that tunnel vision. And this is why we pay consultants. Right. We don't pay them because they know our industry so well. We pay them because they're going to come in from a different angle. They're going to see something we've never seen. Right.
Sure.
That's Ritik was showing like that. Exactly. Because you're going like this. And I come from the sides and I look at this. I'm like, dude, what are you doing here? And you're like, oh no, this is my direction. No, but you missed this one, you know. You're like, oh yeah, crap, yeah, I did miss that, you know. And then we brainstorm on that, we find the solution, and suddenly your friction is gone, your time to value is gone up.
True.
But it's gone down. It's quicker your time to value, right? So again, find partners that are not in your business. Find the decision partners. Find other leaders that does different things. You know, do you guys have a mastermind group? I know that, of course, in the core you are almost like a mastermind and so on, but you know, yourselves go meet somebody like me and somebody like I don't know who, and ask and say, hey man, can we have a monthly call? You know, and all bring your challenges. We all learn from each other. You know, we all learn from each other. The best learning is from peers. Right. And the peer doesn't have to be in your industry. It doesn't have to be doing the exact same thing you're doing. Yeah. The peer could be selling food in the market. and the other peer is a captain of a massive yacht, and the other peer is a pilot, and you are a tech company guy. And then you start talking about your tech company issues, and the pilot says, oh yeah, but you know, in my hardware, these buttons were difficult, so I did it. You're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I could do that in my business. All right. And then such weird conversations can start, but then the output or the way it makes you think, it might be a way that you've never thought about because you're stuck in your industry. And we live and breathe, you know, as startup owners and creators and founders, it's your babies, right? You're very obsessed about it, hopefully, because if you're not, just change, right? Because if you're not obsessed about it, you're gonna fail, right? And you're gonna fail badly, and you can learn from it. But if you're obsessed and you're like, yes, this is the mission and vision and value, this is what I'm bringing to the market, right? You're breathing that day in, day out, you're definitely a step forward for success, right? And then if you can contact other peers that are in different industries and have conversations, regular conversations and so on, you're really going to have a better time in your business, you know. And I do believe this happened to me. It happened to me a couple of times, but the other in May, just before I think we started the master classes or something like that, I was invited to a founders retreat in Mykonos. And when you say Mykonos, it sounds like a party, doesn't it? Yeah, and yeah, we did party very hard, don't get me wrong. But it was a founders retreat of 50 founders, you know, in a hotel, in a beautiful hotel, 5-star hotel and stuff. I didn't pay for this, by the way, my partner did for me. Because I wouldn't have paid all those fees, but it was great. And we were 50 founders, and we had every morning we had tables, round tables, and conversing about AI and how can we change our business to adapt AI, how can we change our business to do this, and you know, learning from each other. Everybody was from different industries, but all kind of tech founders, but of different, you know, one could be fintech, one could be, you know, marketing automation and so on. And you know, and that day I remember that evening, you know, we actually partied very hard as well every night, because you know, tech founders who made lots of hundreds of millions, they love to party, trust me, because they don't party a lot, they work a lot, and then when they have this retreat and they're all together, like-minded people, they really enjoy it. And that, I think, not that night because I was too busy partying, but I came back home, and I think my wife asked, how did it go? And I was like, I was the stupidest in the room. I loved it. It's the first time in my life that I really felt that I was the most stupid person in 50 people. And I was like, this is a great feeling. You know, I do have a bit of ego, and I'm like, I'm smart, I do this, I do that, you know, and I'm doing all these companies. I'm a CEO of 2 companies. I do masterclasses at Core, right? And then suddenly I had a guy who sold his company for $750 million, and he took 10%. He took $75 million cash, and this was his second exit. And the first one he did for 25 or something, and he took 10% as well. And so I calculated how much he had in his bank account. I thought, oh my God, sorry, the first one 250, the second one 750. So he had 25 and 75. I was like, oh my God, he must have, you know, 100 million in cash in his bank account. And he was so humble. He was so humble. You know, I bought him a beer. He potentially didn't buy it back to me. That's another story we're not going to get into. But I was like, oh my God. These are brains. These are people who's done like things that I couldn't even imagine doing, you know. And I felt the stupidest in the room, and it was an amazing feeling. And I am begging to repeat that now. Right, there's the next retreat, and now I'm paying from my own pocket to go to the next retreat. I'm like, I'm going to the next one, right? Because when you're the stupidest in the room, means you're gonna learn a lot. You're gonna learn from all these people a lot, right? So find people that are smarter than you. Find people that you think has done better than you, right? And hang out with them, you know, and they'll hang out with you if you ask the right questions, because they love to talk about the right stuff, right? They're not going to say, oh, you're not as smart as us, don't hang out with us. If you ask them the right questions, they're going to love to talk about how they've done that, how they succeeded, how they failed, and they're going to share all these stories with you. And when they share stories with you, you're learning, right? That was a great life lesson, you know. That was a few months ago. I was like, wow, yeah, I'm doing more of these stuff, you know. And I deleted some friends. I was like, I'm not talking to you guys anymore. you know, and aiming to have smarter friends, right? Silly, but I'm joking and not at the same time. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I actually was, I have this one-liner journal that I do every night before I sleep. And the past few months, the only thing I was thinking that how you get influenced by the people you're around without even you noticing. So you need to get and find better people to
Yeah.
surround you and friends.
100%, 100%. You have to be the stupidest at the table.
True.
If you're the stupidest at the table or at the room, you know, the example was 5 people. But when I did that with 50 people and I was the stupidest, I was like, my God, I'm in the right place. Yeah, like that was very, very cool. That was very, very cool. And I'd love to thank a lot of people for helping me get there and helping me be in that room, right? And you know, I was invited. My partner sent me there and stuff, you know, and I'm very, very grateful for these opportunities. It gives you the push to learn more and more. Yes, absolutely, Amama, absolutely. And yeah, I came back with such energy, and I'm gonna change the world, and I'm starting a new AI company and stuff like that. It was really good. So you might ask, Tim, you know, you're saying a lot of stupid stuff, but sometimes you say valuable stuff. You know, if you think sometimes I give a little bit of value, I have a newsletter. It's called the Growth Letter, right? The Growth Letter is thegrowthletter.substack.com. Actually, I have also another link for it. It's timchucker.com /the Growth Letter. Or you can just go from this, thegrowthletter.substack.com. I share usually weekly, and the last couple of weeks I haven't done it because it's summer here, and as Rezek knows, boardroom is a difficult place to be in the summer. There's a lot going on, and my newsletter is not easy to create. It takes me a few hours to create it because I aim to share the most knowledge and value I can, right? So you'll have a tool, you have an article that I read, you'll have a media item, a podcast or a YouTube video that I loved that week that I really recommend for you to read. And also now I have a post, like somebody else's LinkedIn post, somebody else's Twitter thread that I learned a lot from, right? I'm a very curious person, and I'm not saying I'm the smartest at all, but I do follow a lot of smart people, and I like to curate some good content for my followers at the Growth Letter. So please do get on there, because you can also reply to the Growth Letter, and it might take me time to reply, but if you reply to it, you can ask me a question and you say, oh, this tool, I tried it, and so on. Get into the conversation, give me feedback to make the newsletter better as well, please. And yeah, if you haven't, I know that Rezek and Nadine already put it on the description. Follow me on LinkedIn. I share a bunch of stuff on LinkedIn. That 11,557 people became 13,000 yesterday, so I'm quite excited at that. Thank you. Yeah, Rezek, yes, slowly but surely getting there. So do that. You have my email, and you can book a coaching session through the core. Don't forget to contact Nadine if you want a coaching session, or Rezek. And that's about it. I do have a bit of time, Rezek, if you want, for Q&A. I don't have
I think we're good to go, but I have to speak to you for a couple of minutes before we... Yeah, Maha, please go ahead.
Yes, Tim, one quick question.